Hey folks, Real Honesty with Charmantland. I'm Charmantland. This is part 5 of my top 100 least favorite horror movies list. And look, this is where the rants are going to get a little more biting. I'm just going to say, you've been watching the show up to this point, so you know what to expect when I got a least favorite list. You can expect me to skip past some of them, say, okay, this was bad, here's why, whatever, and then move on. Some I might go a little bit in depth. But basically, I got a lot more episodes to do. Probably, well, okay, not a lot, probably like 4 more after this. But it depends on how biting the rants get. If I get to about the top 25 and I get to where I'm only doing 5 per, this could end up being a 10-part series. But I just want to take a moment. Thank you guys for watching so far. And not just this series, but any of my shows. Any of my shows from when I first started posting shit on YouTube. When I was still doing stuff on Ustream and just uploading it straight to YouTube after that. Thank you guys for sticking around. As of right now, as of me recording this, I'm actually recording this very early on the 4th of November. So whenever this goes up. So I'm like recording this like 1 a.m. in the morning because I don't sleep. Or at least I don't sleep much. So thanks a lot. I'm at 67,000 views, total views so far, which I never thought I would achieve. Here's hoping I can maybe hit 100,000 by WrestleMania. And those of you that are watching this, since the vast majority of you are wrestling fans, you will know that hopefully you will know what that show means, and big shows, hopefully I can hit that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on with number 54, Thinner. Well, don't hit a gypsy girl or gypsy person or whatever, or otherwise you will be cursed to lose weight. Pretty much the basis of this whole movie. In fact, that's actually pretty much the entire plot. Guy's getting this thin guy that's in these fat prosthetics, fat man suit prosthetics, some of the worst makeup ever. And I'm not faulting the guy. I'm not faulting the people that did the makeup, unless the person actually was supposed to be a professional. And in that case, they did horrible. Hell, this could have had a really small budget, and they say, hey, here's this much money. You make the guy look convincingly fat. I need about that. Oh, no, you're getting this. That's pretty much what it was. Guy, the fat guy, I believe he was a lawyer, if I remember right, a lawyer, banker is one of the two, is not really important, is getting head from his wife. He ends up accidentally hitting somebody, gets hit with a gypsy curse where he keeps losing weight. At first, not so bad, and then he's getting to where he's becoming a skeleton. Or a meth addict, hard to tell. There really, no scares, no nothing. Guy isn't likable or sympathetic once he starts losing the weight. Gypsy people are just ridiculous. Look, I get it. If you lose somebody, you should, you probably won't react well. Cursing somebody seems a bit much, but whatever. It didn't matter. Nothing about this movie was any bit scary at all, and if I was Stephen King, I'd be pretty damn upset about what happened here. Yeah, it was pretty damn bad. Anyway, then we go on to 53, One Missed Call. Well, it had Shannon, or I think Shannon, I don't remember her last name. It's a very weird last name. She was the short-haired girl from The Knight's Tale. A Knight's Tale. The pretty one. At least I thought she was pretty. Still is, I'm sure. But she did some other movies after that, but this was like the foray into being, in horror movies and everything. And it was based on, I want to say this was one of the many American remakes of a Japanese movie. And I imagine the Japanese version was better. Whatever the Japanese version was, it had to have been better than this, because the idea is people now are getting weird phone calls, and the phone call is of audio from the future of somebody dying. It's either yourself or it's a friend. And the thing is, if you don't answer, then you don't know how you're going to die. It's like a weird Final Destination thing or whatever. Oh God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? There are no inventive deaths in this movie. No real sympathetic characters. Nothing horrifying. I mean, sorry. It's like, look, is death scary? Yes, death is very scary. It can come out. It can come out of nowhere. I mean, literally. Unfortunately, that's kind of sadly the world we live in. It's a world. That's how the world's been for decades, fucking centuries. Death can unfortunately come out of nowhere. This movie doesn't really tackle much of anything besides that. I mean, you see a guy get a pole through, impaled on a pole and he dies. There's really not much in as far as inventive deaths or anything. A lot of it's really just overly gimmicky. The whole technology thing is like, oh, trying to make something about, oh, how technology is bad. The whole thing about being addicted to cell phones, and this was I want to say 2008, 2009. So this is when cell phones, I mean, were obviously big, but now they've gotten even bigger. I mean, hell, I record my shows on a cell phone. I mean, how cool is that? But with one missed call, yeah, hang up and try again. Hang up and don't call again. Put this movie on your do not watch list, like the do not call list, because it's not worth your time. Number 52, Graveyard Shift. Well, weird creature in a mine, and people keep going down there and people die. There's not much else to say. The creature looks ridiculous. The characters are so stock. The evil guy that keeps sending employees down there. Oh no, we need to do our job. I don't care if people are dying. If Phil's coming back up with a missing arm, he's fine. Rub some dirt on it. It's fine. I remember watching this and if I remember right, the creature's a weird winged creature. I mean, I might be mixing it up with some Ray Harryhausen stuff, but it's like a bat or something. It's a weird bat. Again, I could be mixing it up with another movie, but I remember the creature looking really, really fake, like very stop motion. And I recognize the computer effects really only came into the mainstream from like the late 80s, early 90s, but especially the early 90s on. But with the right budget and the right imagination, you can make special effects a whole lot better, and Graveyard Shift did not do that. It had that weird feel of when it was filmed. You could have taken this film, put it 10 years before, and no one would have noticed the difference. Because it was cheaply made, cheaply acted, cheaply shot. Special effects were shit. Storyline was lame as hell. I mean, and the idea of a creature killing off people, like this unholy creature killing off people, and could possibly wreak havoc on, humanity. Okay, I mean, that's something, you can make for a fun little cheesy monster movie or something like that. And this didn't even tackle that aspect. It played it too serious. You can't play something serious like this when it's called Graveyard Shift. I mean, come on. And I've worked the Graveyard Shift. There were only 3 times the weird bat creatures tried to attack me. Or they could have been homeless people that wanted drugs. I don't know. It might have been that. Maybe they were on drugs. Maybe they wanted to get money for drugs. I don't know. Graveyard Shift, though, was really, 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 really bad. And then, number 51, Storage 24. Hey, let's get the most unlikable characters. Have them stranded where they end up in a storage facility, where an alien creature picks them off one by one. Because that had to have been the pitch for the movie. Because if that wasn't the pitch for the movie, well, then that must have been the screenplay. Because I can't imagine there was much of a screenplay for this movie. This was really shit. I mean, this was such shit. Like, you had the alien creature that didn't really look all that impressive. I mean, there's a reason why when they shot it, it was quick cuts, it was dark, and you didn't get to see much of it. Because when you finally saw it, you're just like, how did this movie come out recently? I mean, it's a few years old, but still, the idea is any movie, I'm sorry, if it comes out after 2000, especially after 2010, if your creature looks that terrible, yes, funding must be difficult for movies to get. But that was no excuse for how terrible this creature looked. the characters as far as any, the bad boy, the girl with a heart of gold, the unhinged guy. Everybody was so one note. And I've said before, it's like with other movies I talked about, you could have replaced them with cardboard cutouts, and nobody would have really noticed the difference. And I'm sure that the cast did the best they could. I honestly believe they did the best they could. But taking this with like an old school, like monster movie enclosed setting mindset and bringing it to a new age, okay, you can have some fun with it. They didn't really have any fun with it. You can't play it too straight. And you had some weird guy like show up out of nowhere, some weird crazy guy, and it didn't even seem like he fit in the damn movie at all. It was just a weird, bleakly depressing movie. And and then of course you have two very unlikable characters, three unlikable characters that somehow managed to beat the creed. Just ridiculous. No one cared. You didn't root for anybody, so why even bother? I mean, I thought it would be a fun movie, and it wasn't even fun. Number 50, Open Water. Hey, you want to see a couple that went scuba diving, got stranded, and they bitch for an hour and a half while while creatures are going around the water, like da 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 da, like the rays capable of stinging stingrays. Neither of them were named Irwin, so that's okay. That was mean. In all seriousness, the Croc Hunter was, great guy. Hell of a meme artist. Anyway, well, actually, he led to a whole bunch of memes happening. But anyway, Open Water. The people that made Silent House later on, they made this, and it was a small cast. Of course, it was. Besides the few people that were on the boat with the couple when they went in the water, there really wasn't that much of a cast. It was focused around focused around them in the water. And look, it must be scary being stranded out there. The problem is this is how you make a short movie. This is how you make a short movie. You could have put this in a little anthology and stuff like that. Put this in like not a VHS thing or whatever, which I'll get to one of those later. Not the first one, but with Open Water, it's like if this had been part of an anthology, if you had done a 2-hour anthology and this had been a 30-minute movie, 25 to 30-minute movie, fine. Because it would have worked like that. They go out scuba diving. Oh, God, they got stranded. Oh, God, we've been out here forever. Cut. Oh, God, I'm bleeding. Gets eaten. She gets eaten. Okay, end of movie. The problem is, this dragged out for at least 80 pissing minutes. And it was bad. And it was really, really... I remember watching this in theaters, and I was 20. It was 2004, so I was 23. I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy at least the cheese fest of it. The whole found footage thing that's kind of, it's based on a true story. I didn't buy it, but you hear that and you kind of believe it. Okay, it can make it more fun. This didn't make it fun, and it wasn't that the cast didn't try. They were literally given the material of be in the water, act like you're getting attacked by things, and improvise your goddamn dialogue. That must have been it. If there was a screenplay longer than this goddamn list, front to back, I would have been amazed. The list, by the way, that I'm using for this top 100 countdown. Seriously, there was no material for it. There was no material that warranted this being a theatrical release and a feature-length film. If it had been part of an anthology, that would have worked. But yeah, as a short subject movie, it worked fine. Not as a full-length feature. Number 49, Cold Creek Manor. This had Stephen Dorff, Juliette Lewis. I want to say Juliette Lewis was in there. They had her play Trailer Park Trash. Seemed fitting, given the roles that she has played in later movies. Was it Stephen Dorff? I think it was Stephen Dorff. Stephen Dorff, Juliette Lewis had Dennis Quaid in it. It just... Family gets this house. Stephen Dorff wants the house. The house might be haunted, or maybe people are maybe making them think it's haunted, so they'll leave. it wasn't actually haunted. It was Stephen Dorff trying to get the house, terrorizing the new family. It might have been better if they made it just a haunted house thing. Like, really, it just might have been. No, just make it straight haunted house. Don't make it like anybody's trying to chase him out or whatever. Just make it a straight haunted house movie. Otherwise, you were gonna do nothing but, yeah, this just wasn't scary. And I mean, it was very Cold Creek Manor. Creek is accurate because it rained a lot in this movie. I mean, as far as I remember, I mean, it wasn't like hard rain where literally you felt like you were being flooded. And by the way, hard rain was shit. It doesn't qualify as it qualifies as a terrible action movie, but not a horror movie. Even though it was horrifying to see Randy Quaid try to act. It wasn't hard to see him play a villain, considering the guy's a royal prick. And I don't care what help the guy needs, the guy's a royal prick, who hopefully goes to jail for a good long time. But Cold Creek Manor, what was there to root for? I mean, you didn't care about Dennis Quaid and his family. You didn't really care about anybody that was that was in there. Julia Lewis wasn't very sympathetic. I mean, Stephen Dorff, he played a much better villain in Blade. There just wasn't much to it. There really wasn't. I mean, it's like I throw my hands up with some of these and just say there really wasn't much to them. This came out in like 2003, and it had that feel of a movie that sat on the shelf for about 2 years. I would not have been surprised if this was filmed back in 2000, and actually didn't see the light of day till 2003. I mean, I didn't check out the facts for it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, number 48, Friday the 13th, 4 through 8. Yes, I know with 4, at least I believe it was 4. I get the numbers screwed up, so forgive me. But 4 was the one where it was not actually Jason, but a paramedic that did the killings. 8 was Jason Takes Manhattan. 7 actually was Kane Hodder's first foray as Jason, which actually was pretty cool. And, 7 was pretty ridiculous. But they were all pretty silly. In fact, I'm just going to actually single one out. 8. Because Jason Takes Manhattan, he did no taking of Manhattan. The director did comment about how the measly budget cut a lot of stuff that he wanted to do, like Jason go through a whole bunch of landmarks and everything. But number 8 feels like the biggest misfire. Because, yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, whatever. I mean, Jason Goes to Hell was full of cheese, but it at least led us to getting Freddy vs. Jason. Which is not on this list, because Freddy vs. Jason, well, ridiculous, was fun. But, yeah, Friday the 13th Part 8 actually will get the sole mention here. I mean, 4, I'll actually just list 8, because 8 was the biggest disappointment. And look, I didn't expect it to be great. You can't expect a Jason movie to be great. But 8 was probably the biggest disappointment, just simply because of the reasons I mentioned. I mean, he didn't really do much. It took place kind of on a cruise ship, which is silly. I mean, and look, you can get some inventive kills and get this kind of stuff. You can always come up with so many weird ways for people to get killed before it seems overly gimmicky. But the idea of, like, Jason taking Manhattan and, doing these, killing people in these big landmarks and stuff like that, just, it sounded like a much better movie than we got. What we got was just a really bad. It was bad. It was badly acted, which I don't expect great acting in these movies. But there was nothing really good. I mean, Kane Hodder was great as Jason. I mean, even though he only played him, I think he played him, if I'm right, in 7, 8. He played him in Jason Goes to Hell, and he played him in Jason X. He didn't even play him in Freddy vs. Jason. But yeah, Kane Hodder was great, but otherwise, I'd skip number 8. Number 8 for sure. I mean, you can watch it as a cheese fest. Number 47, I'm kind of losing track here, sorry. Psycho 2, Not Electric Boogaloo. 20 some odd years later, Norman Bates is being released from the mental institution. And is he actually reformed? Does he still hear his mother's voice? Is he going to try and, is he going to revert back to killing? Well, unfortunately, all these answers seem to be stretched out over material that was maybe an hour's worth, but it's about 2 hours long. I mean, the movie's close to being 2 hours. I want to check it. I want to say this though. Riff Tracks does a great, riffing of this, so I would recommend checking that out. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Psycho 2, it was unnecessary, and it was offensive. It was offensive just because of how unnecessary it was. Like, I mean, and Anthony Perkins, good actor, was really iconic in the first Psycho. But if this had come out in the 70s, I might have understood it. But this came out in 82. I mean, 82, 83. Yeah, 82. This came out so, so late where the bloom was way off the rose of Psycho. I mean, this felt so unnecessary as a sequel. It's like, what was the point? I mean, and they tried it back to the whole thing where, okay, Perkins did decide to revert back to killing, and then Psycho 3, the hotel reopens, motel, whatever, Bates Motel. Psycho 3 was ridiculous, but Psycho 2 offended me more because it tried to be, scary and everything, and it was anything but. Oh no, Norman's not actually offensive, or Norman's not actually, bad. He's reformed, and no, he wasn't reformed. It just there were so many cliches in this kind of stuff. It was so bad. It was so stupid. It was such a drop off in quality from the first one. It wasn't even. It did have a comical shovel clang at the end, though. That was kind of cool. Number 46, The Haunting of Molly Hartley. You fucking terrible movie. I mean, what else? What else is there to say? If you watched it, you would understand. It's just a cheap, bleak, terribly acted. And by everybody in the movie, no. I mean, there were a few performances that were at least okay. But watching it, you're like, I'm wasting my time watching this. I mean, this was just so stupid. It was one of those where I'm watching it and I'm just thinking, I'm like, there's a reason for it. It's cheesy, it's ridiculous, but there's a reason for it. No, there wasn't a damn reason for it. It was like 90 minutes or 100 minutes, and it felt like it lasted about 2 years. It's like, I'm not going to recount the plot. I'm not going to do this kind of stuff. You can look up the plot if you want. I'm just going to tell you, don't watch it unless you really want to watch it with a whole bunch of buddies, because it was bad. There was neither haunting, there was a Molly Hartley in it, but that was about it. So at least it lived up to its title, where I guess there was a goofy kind of haunting, but it was really terrible. And number 45, The Skeleton Key. Well, if this didn't tank Kate Hudson's career, I don't know what did. And nothing against Kate Hudson. I was never really a fan of her nor her mother, Goldie Hawn. But whatever, they have a place in Hollywood. Kate Hudson's apparently doing pretty well as far as like having a fashion line, stuff like that, so good for her. Wish all the best. Skeleton Key, hoodoo, you-do, I mean, that's pretty much the whole damn movie. I mean, it's about hoodoo. And this old couple. That's not actually an old couple, because it's people that that use a hoodoo ritual to possess, to transfer their souls into younger bodies so they can keep living. And this movie actually limped along so damn much. It's like, I remember actually legit hating this movie. Had I done this series, had I been on YouTube, back in, say, 2010, I might have actually put this one in the top 20. But there have been so many bad movies since, and so many bad movies that I've seen that even came out years before, that I have to put this one lower. But let me just say, this has made me angry. And it made me angry because I knew where the movie was going at the end. Of course, Kate Hudson was going to end up having her soul taken out of her body and put in this old person. But it was ridiculous. And it was like this... The Ferryman. Did you see the movie The Ferryman? That's what it was like, except without a mythical dagger, without John Rhys Davies in it, which was really disappointing because we need more dwarves in our movies. And it didn't have a goddamn ferryman in it. The ferryman was the best actor in the damn movie, and I think he was a weird puppet. But anyway, back to the skeleton key. The hoodoo stuff, the everything, the all they needed was a red herring to fly across the go across the damn screen. That's all they needed. All they needed was a red herring. A legit red herring. We knew where it was going. I mean, I remember actually, I think I might have watched this with one of my girlfriends at the time. It was 2005, so... No, I did. Okay. We both worked at the theater at the time, so we were able to watch it, but it was such shit. It was such shit. You did not feel any sympathy for anybody. It didn't matter. The ending was bleak, whatever. Terrible movie. Absolutely shit. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave that off. I went a little lengthy on these rants, but thank you guys so much for watching. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Yeah, think I'm getting too harsh with these rants? You ain't seen nothing yet. I got 44 more movies to talk about, and the rants are going to get a lot worse. So anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Riddler. I'm John Riddler. I will see you all soon.